This is my Soul Striker Gogeta Turning the Tide deck. One copy of the leader. 4 Super Saiyan Blue Gogeta Frenzied Burst. 4 Android 17 Turning the Tide. 4 Super Saiyan Gogeta Rise of the Super Warrior. 4 Whis Resident Attendant. 4 Majin Power Supreme Kai. 4 Almighty Push Zeno. Right? All go 4 copies of Gohan Baby's Minion. 4 copies of Goku Vegeta Saiyan Synergy. 4 copies of Chill's Army Reinforcements, 4 Senzubin, 4 Raditz Giant Force, 4 Gotenks Absolute Unison, 4 SS4 Goku Protector of the Earth, and 1 copy of Baby Hatchet. So this is an upgraded version of another of my Gogeta, because this is like the third Gogeta burn, the Soul Striker Gogeta burn deck that I've done. This is the newest version that I'm playing with, so I do other than have everything except for Hachiyak, obviously. Still up their own price. Hopefully they reprint it. But I have every other card to build this deck. So I do have the deck built, so I was doing test hands, just making sure everything worked out the way I wanted it. It's fun too. And it worked out pretty well. So I'm using, Soul Striker Goku. Auto, when this card attacks, choose 1, draw a card, or untap 1 mono blue energy to active mode. Interesting enough, we don't use that effect as much. We just use the draw. Because obviously we're trying to draw our combo pieces and keep our hands sensitive. And then, so we're already going to keep our energy up because we don't make too many plays. The only time we actually do something on average would be on turn 2, dropping Majin, Identifier Western Pain. Identifier Western Pain Kai, to help us, ramp up to Gogeta. We can play her on turn 2, right? Then on turn 3, we play Whis, ramp our energy up, and then, so we can, ramp our energy up, so that way, by turn 4, we should definitely be able to play Vegeta Rise of the Super Warrior, which will help us obviously ramp up to be able to play Android 17 when our opponent has 2 or less life. That'll be our main win con in that situation. But if our opponent has 4 or less, then we're going the Gogeta route. To help us win the game, so those are our main win cons. But you can win, obviously without those things, but they are our main win cons, our main strategy to go for game. Then we have when you have 4 or less life, or you have a blue unison with a specified cost of 3, which is Raditz Giant Force. You can awaken by drawing 2 cards. As awaken side, when he attacks, you draw a card. Then you can switch up to 2 of your mono blue energy to active mode. At the end of your second auto, at the end of your turn, choose up to 1 of your blue unisons, switch to active mode. That's very useful with Raditz and Gotenks since they're blockers. So you can obviously take advantage of attacking with them and then using the leader's ability to restand them, so that way you can use them to block, which is always good. Gogeta, of course, has barrier, very important. Has barrier, and we use him for his active main, which is once per turn. If you have 15 or more energy, choose up to 4 cards in your opponent's life and place it at the bottom of their deck in any order. So this is how you'll burn your opponent up to 4 damage, right? So obviously the goal is to get to 10, hard cast them for 10, and hopefully we have 15 energy and ready to roll. Which is not too hard to do. Especially we have a combo to help us ramp up really fast into that. Have 15 energy. So we got Android 17 Turning the Tide. Deflect, critical, useful. Auto, when you play this card, choose all cards in your hand and your opponent's hand and all battle cards in your opponent's drop area, shuffle them back into the decks. So that way your opponent has no cards in hand, you have no cards in hand. Since he's 30k with crit, swing your opponent's leader, right? When they're at 2 life, deal them crit damage, then swing with your leader, or whatever else you have. You more likely have a unison, you can swing with whatever you got. Or you probably still have Gogeta, since you did use them to ramp, right? Probably still have Gogeta in the field, swing for game. So it's a basic line of play with Android 17, not much to say there. Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, 30k blocker, first auto. The leader card is mounted blue, which it is. When this card is played, look at up to 4 cards on the top of your deck. And we're just gonna mainly charge off 4. Sometimes I'll if I don't have Gogeta and I notice that Gogeta, I looked at the top 4 and Gogeta was in those top 4. Sometimes I'll grab it and then charge the rest of the energy and just try to ramp play a weak cohesion along with the leader's untap ability to help me ramp up and still be able to have energy to play stuff like Senzu, and then Senzu can lead into a Gohan play, into a Cho's Army reinforcement play, or I could just obviously just wait a turn and stall with Goku, Protector of the Earth, which is usually one of the plays I want to make after I play Gogeta. And there's obviously a really strong ramp play that I want to do using the leader with Vegeta, where you have 2 Vegetas. You play 1 Vegeta to ramp up to 4 energy, right? Swing with the leader to untap 2 of your energy, so you have 6 energy, and then play a second Vegeta and ramp 4 more energy. So that will definitely should help you get to over 10 energy real quick in that situation. So you should get really, really close to 15 energy. Definitely will have 10 energy for Gogeta. You definitely want to get up to 15 for its effect. And what else? Auto at the end of the turn, switch this card to attack mode, so you can use it as a sword and a shield because it is a 30k blocker. So you ramp with it, and if you use the leader's ability, you can ramp the second one, ramp even further. And then typically I want to play a Goku, Protector of the Earth, because I want to get that extra turn to try to drop, the Gogeta for the Gogeta play. And of course, we got stuff like Cho's Army reinforcement. We got Gohan's Baby's Minion. We got Baby Hatchet cards that can help try to get us extra turns. So we got a good amount of cards in here that can help us try to get the extra turn necessary to get our Gogeta play off. Or at least just get an extra turn and just do an Android 17 plan. Just go for game with that. So all we have to do is get our point down to 2, drop Android 17, go for game, right? So, like that synergy. MISCS, of course, when you play this card, take the top card of your deck and place it into your energy. Obviously, it'll be in active mode, so you can't use it to play cards like Senzu, and combine it with the leader's ability to attack 2 energy. If the leader's awake, and you can ramp up some more. You can untap your energies and have energy to make other plays like play a Raditz. Since he can double block with his abilities, or have the energy, or save the energy for a Gohan play. Have an energy for a Goku, Vegeta, same synergy. It acts like a Senzu Bean, especially if you combine Goku, Vegeta with Senzu Bean, and get your leader up to 20 to 25k real easily in 1 turn, which can help you, slow down or at least reduce your opponent's ability to go wide. And that's always what you gotta take into account, especially nowadays. You gotta be able to floodgate negate, or you gotta be able to protect yourself a whole turn. It's not enough to stop a couple of strategic attacks here and there and take a couple of hits. If you have no choice but to do that, you do that, right? But ultimately, you want to play stuff that just for a whole turn you're safe, right? Whole turn, perfect guard, as they say in Vanguard. So here's a perfect guard. Here's a perfect guard. Central perfect guard, perfect guard, perfect guard, and perfect guard. So you get the idea. You got Even playing Almighty Push Zeno can give you a perfect guard, like really, the ability to clear your opponent's board and make it hard for them to attack you is always good. Imagine a Fire, of course, she has Barrier, which is useful, of course, and then you can tap her for energy to hard cast. Obviously, this helps you hard cast Super Saiyan Vegeta, so you can get his ramp ability, so you can get him out sooner than later. So sometimes you might not get her. That's why we have the MISCS as a backup, because a lot of times you just need to ramp just one time, so you can try to get Super Saiyan Vegeta out as soon as possible. At least be able to try and play him out at least by turn 5. But if you play her and then him, or play 2 of her, because you could play her on turn 2, and if for some reason you're at 4 life or something, right? Then you can swing with the leader and untap 2 and play another one of her. So we have 2 of her in play. That way, on the following turn, you play your 3rd energy. We have 5 energy, and that lets you do stuff like Almighty Push Zeno or Goku Protector Earth, so that we can try to get yourself an extra turn. The goal, as always, is you're trying to get to certain turns. You're swinging every turn, obviously trying to get your opponent down to 4 or less life, while stalling to these floodgate negates and these board wipes to get to a specific turn, so that we can play your ultimate cards, your best cards, your finishers. So there's that. Obviously, we have Almighty Push Zeno. He has Deflect. Auto, when you play this card, choose all battle cards, return them to the owner's decks. Then all players who return cards to their decks shuffle their decks. So this is how, this is a pretty basic board wipe right here. This does, of course, return all your battle cards, so keep that in mind. It does return himself, so that way he's reusable. Then we have Gohan, Baby's Minion. Counterattack, negate an attack, play this card. He has Servant, so he'll get 10k. And can't untap during your charge phase. Auto, when this card is played, your opponent can't attack for the turn unless they choose one card from their hand and place it at the bottom of the deck. So it's a new topo. Good thing is, besides that floodgate ability, is the fact that he'll be 25k. So that's really good stat to apply pressure at your opponent with. And of course, you can always recycle him by playing Almighty Push Zeno and be able to return him and go on back into your deck. So that way you can, later on, if you draw him again, just use him again. We have Goku and Vegeta. Alright, so this is, I'm saying, Almighty Push Zeno lets you clear your opponent's board unless you recycle your Gohan and Baby's Minion. Of course, Baby's Minion ability to let you get an extra, make it hard for your opponent to attack. You have to give up resources from your hand. We got Goku, the Gogeta, Synergy, right? And again, attack, play this card in rest mode. Auto, if your leader card is blue and you place this card that's in rest mode at the bottom of your deck, when your opponent attacks your leader card, choose up to one of your leader cards and it gets plus 5k power for the turn. In other words, you use this to negate an attack, play in rest mode. If your opponent attacks your leader, then you can put this card at the bottom of your deck in order to essentially Senzu-bean your leader. So turn your leader, if it's on the awakened side, until 20k for the duration of the turn, for example. And of course, you can use multiple copies of these per turn. And combine them with Senzu-bean, you can get your leader pretty high. You can get them up to 30, 35, maybe even 40k in a single turn. And that will be, pretty good defense for a turn. So if you use the cards right, you can get an extra turn, which is always important. We got Chill's Army Reinforcement, counterattack, leader card is mono blue, negate the attack and then play a Chill's Army token with 10k power and it gains blocker for the turn. Permanent, if you have 5 or less life, you can take a card from your life, add it to your hand in order to play this card for free. And of course, you can play multiple copies of the card as long as you can afford to take a life and add it to your hand. So you can stop potentially 2 attacks per each copy, so that's good against going wide strategies or just dual attackers. Senzobean, active battle, choose up to one of your cards, it gains 5k power for the duration of the turn, and untap up to 2 of your energies. Of course, we like to combine it with the leader's effect to help us try to untap a lot of energy, so we can play some big cards, because you can definitely play Vegeta, right? Ramp up 4 energy, swing with the leader, untap 2 energy, so you're at 6 energy. Then play Senzobean, so you'd be up to 7 energy, right? And then after the battle's over, then since you have 7 energy, you can play Android 17 and Turning Tide in the same turn in which you played Gogeta if you have Senzobean and your leader's awakened. So there's a combo right there where you can get a and of course you'll get the effect of both you and your opponent take your the cards in your hands, and your opponent takes all the battle cards in the drop area and put it back into their decks, shuffle, and then you can go since he's 30k crit, go swing at your leader, right? Deal him damage. He won't add nothing to his hand, so you can swing with Gogeta, deal him a lot of damage. And if your opponent has 2 life, they lose. If not, they're still alive. You can try going swinging with anything else you have, especially if you have like one of your unisons, especially your dual attack one, you can try to take advantage of, and potentially do up to 4 damage in that turn. So just depends on the situation. So at least you're in a much better position to win in that turn if you do that play. Okay, we're at Raditz Giant Force. It's a blocker, 19k. Auto, once per turn when you activate the blocker skill, you can switch to Attapoll, so that way you can obviously block with it twice in a turn. Plus 0 ability, draw a card, and at the end of your turn, switch this card to Attapoll. Let's see. So obviously you'll be able to attack with this and be able to block with this twice in your turn, so that's always useful. Plus you get a card to replace it. It's always good to draw. Then we have the -2 ability, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards, return it to their owner's hand. At the end of the turn, switch one of your blue energy to active mode. So obviously you can combine this with the leader's effect so that we can have 3 energy up, so you can literally play this, right, on turn 3 for example, right, play this, 3 energy, right, trigger its -2 effect, swing with it, so you can attack, right, attack with it, right, now you can awaken the leader, so draw 2 cards and awaken the leader, right, swing with the leader, draw a card, so now you drew 2 cards, plus you untap 2 energy, so you have 2 energy untapped, and you got 2 attacks. And then at the end of the turn, you can use your leader's second auto to switch this back to active, so you can use it to block twice on your opponent's turn. And of course, this card's effect to untap an energy, so that we have 3 energy again, and that 3 energy can be used for Goku's baby's minion, or Chill's Army Reinforcement Senzobeans, your Goku and Vegeta saying synergy cards, just some synergistic stuff there that you can do. And being bouncing a battle card from your opponent's side back to hand is really good, because obviously it resets them and causes them to have to, if they want to play it again, they have to pay for it again, right? Unless they play it for free, then that was just pointless, right? But you always want to keep your defenses up, so being able to have a blocker that can block twice, plus Gohan's baby minion, floodgate ability is very useful. It's right there. That's 3 potential attacks you can stop. Plus, with his floodgate ability, it makes it hard for your opponent to attack because they will have to give up resources to do so. And it's always good to have a blocker or some type of defense behind the effect of Gohan. That's why we also got Chill's army reinforcement. That definitely comes in handy. Since you could potentially play it for free if you have 5 or less life, right? So you can combine that, Raditz, and Gohan, and you could pretty much survive a turn. So you got Gotenks Absolute Unison, dual attack blocker, so you can attack with it twice, or you can attack with it once, restand it, and then use it to block. So you have a sort of shield strategy going on there. But with the leader's ability, you don't have to do that. You could just attack with it twice. So apply a lot of pressure on your opponent. And it has a -2 ability where you can draw 2 cards. Gotta keep that hand nice and thick and get into your win con. And then it has a -3 ability. Choose up to 2 of your opponent's battle cards, ignore invariants, and place them at the bottom of the deck, which is the most powerful ability we have in this deck in the game, right? It's a really, really good card. He's very, very versatile in what he can do. And along with the leader, the ability to attack twice and still be able to block is always awesome. So, awesome. And of course, the leader's ability to untap 2 energy can always, help you have the 2 energy necessary for Senzobean, Shill's army reinforcements, and Goku and Vegeta saying synergy to help you survive another turn. So I love the synergisticness, these powerful cards. Then we got Goku, Super Saiyan 4. Auto, when you play this card, during your opponent's next turn, they can't attack with battle cards unless they choose one of their other battle cards with energy cost 2 or more and place it at the bottom of their deck. Or to attack, has a -1 ability, draw 2 cards, then choose 1 card from your hand, place it at the bottom of your deck. And then has the -2 ability, which we always combine with the auto, which is active main, choose all of your opponent's battle cards, ignore and bury, and place and return them to the owner's hand. So this will help us reset our opponent's board, And then of course with the floodgate ability, just definitely gonna make it hard for them to attack. They can still attack with leader in unison, so keep that in mind. Keep your defenses up. But that's why we got Chill's army's reinforcement, for example, for that scenario, so that way you can at least defend against those 2 potential attacks. So there's that. And pretty much with the floodgate ability, pretty much going to get an extra turn, which is always the goal. An extra turn means extra damage. Extra damage means you win, right? Baby Hechiak, Saiyans Destroyer, ultimate counter attack. If you have 3 or more energy, negate the attack and play this card, and your opponent can't attack for the turn. Second permanent, if your leader card is mono blue, which it is, you can choose 1 other card from your hand, discard it, in order to play this card for free. That's busted. So right there, you got another take a turn card, right? Not a perfect god. So, and he's a nice 40k beat stick, which can be very helpful, especially if you play him